All right, we'll get started, and hopefully the girls will get with us soon. Uh, Last week, y'all were preparing to go rescue Kaitlyn from Glenwood Cemetery, where she had been taken by the Black Court vampires. Preparations by Kit had included going to the city planning office and talking over with his friend there, Steve Johnson, about looking at various work orders and blueprints and stuff that the city had on file. And they did determine that there was indeed a lot more construction materials and permits than there seemed to be above ground buildings to account for. Uh, and then he also went and sort of scouted out the cemetery and stashed his vehicle in a nearby lot behind a building where he could, and he also, I can't forget, you took a bunch of stakes and you had
Hmm.
affixed them to the front of your vehicle as sort of an anti-vampire mechanism, and that's where that was taking you all throughout your planning time, and you pushed through without any sleep, and weren't really worse for the wear. You were hyped up on the fact that finally there's going to be time to save Kaitlyn. And Sela went out and did some shopping with Manfred, uh, who is Gideon's um personal assistant, I think was the term we went with.
Yeah.
He's a little stuffy, and awkward, but mostly a useful guy. And they did some shopping. They got all the regular accoutrements, garlic, uh, and what else? Salt and your
Holy water.
typical holy water. Well, they went looking for some holy water, and what they ended up with instead was they were able to borrow from the diocese there in Houston the dagger of Friar Domingo, which is a wooden bladed dagger from an old vampire hunter down back in the day. And Sela also went and knocked over a jewelry store. Not literally. She stole from a jewelry store a very beautiful diamond cross. And Gideon has on his plan for the time before they meet up at 4 o'clock to they're going to meet up with Nelson in coma, Sarah Rosefitty's bodyguard, who has agreed with them to help infiltrate and save Kaitlyn at 4 o'clock outside Glenwood Cemetery. So it is currently about 6 a.m. after he sent Sela and Manfred off, and he stumbled over a piece of marble that was clearly fashioned on one end but kind of broken off something. And that's the second time something like that's happened. So he decided he was going to start out with a ritual to look into the past of this object and see if he could figure out where it came from. So let's start there. Describe for me, Paul, what steps Gideon goes through to prepare this ritual. Does he have a room set aside in his house for this kind of thing?
Oh yeah. There's definitely a ritual room with a summoning or a magic circle kind of set in there. It's almost like a clean room. Um, and there's a lock on the inside. So he makes himself ready, take a shower, um, to let the water wash away any lingering magic, and then he heads down there and closes and locks the door, and then sets up the ritual.
Is that like a deadbolt type lock, or is it a key that he has on his person?
It's like a not a deadlock, but like a bar. Literally, like he can bar the door from the
Sure.
inside.
Okay. All right. He definitely has his Gideon's level of lore is good enough that he doesn't really need to do any additional preparations aside from those that you described. It's about uh, it's a little before 7, and he can begin the ritual and start going back.
Okay.
So as you do this, and you've got the object itself to use as a focus to backtrack, so that's of course a big help as well. So as you're performing the ritual and you finish your incantations and and let the energies flow, uh, you're suddenly, it's like you grow smaller for a little while, and it's like you're standing on this big white plane. And after a moment of that, you kind of realize that, oh, you're on top of this object itself. And it's like it's hurtling through a void. You don't really see any movement, but you just have this impression that you're moving. And then it lands and it collapses onto a similar surface, a similar marble floor. And you look around and you see one big long slab of similarly colored marble with a corner broken off that this kind of fits to. And you're in a small room, and there doesn't really seem to be anyone else in this room at the moment. All the walls are made of pretty much a similar material as everything else. It's a whitish stone.
Am I thinking? Is there like a? Am I thinking this is a mausoleum? Is there like a sarcophagus in the middle, or is it just an empty white marble room?
There's a raised sort of platform that this long slab, and you see that's the lid to a sarcophagus.
Okay.
And as you're kind of watching, there's the piece that you rode in on sort of sucks up, and it goes and it connects to the rest of that corner of the lid, and a sledgehammer head and a whole sledgehammer just sort of like rise off of it, and then you find yourself holding that sledgehammer.
I find myself holding the sledgehammer?
You find yourself holding that sledgehammer. And you look over to the wall, and it actually has an inscription on the wall, and it says Yunan Caspar, 1802 to 1849.
Is that, does that name ring a bell? I mean, is that, for some reason that name is ringing a bell to me. Is that the missing Thane?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this place ought to be easy to find.
And when you go and you cut sarcophagus, maybe what you can see there, there's actually no bottom to it, and it opens up into a hole in the ground.
Oh, okay. So, as far as this goes, am I saw myself holding the sledgehammer. Do I think that I was actually there, or will be there, or I guess was, because it's in the past, or am I kind of just like inhabiting the body of somebody who knocked the end off?
Give me a lore check.
Okay. So.
I'm sorry, was that a number? Or?
Yeah, 7. Sorry.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. Okay, you're not exactly sure. You think this might not be you.
Okay.
There's some funny things going on. Most of the time, it's almost like you have to walk to keep up to stuff. This thing kind of sucked you back to this place. Mm-hmm. Your perspective suddenly shifted. The sledgehammer appeared out of nowhere. There's something funny going on with your spell, and you're not quite. It seems like somebody had anticipated you were going to do this, and has tampered with what you've been able to see.
Okay.
At that point, you start to even doubt whether what you're seeing, is here, or if your time of the timeline of where you've ended up to see this. You're not quite sure. There's clearly something hinky going on with the spell.
Okay. I think once I discover that it's being manipulated, I think I'm gonna try to end the spell.
All right. So you break the spell and you back in your ritual room.
Okay.
Now you were going
I
to
think
do another spell. Are you still feeling up to that?
yeah, but the first thing he does at the end of this is it's always his custom when he looks back like that to he immediately goes to there's a shelf and kind of like a small fold out writing desk with some paper and kind of this journal, and he opens up to a fresh page in the journal and he writes down as accurate a description of what he saw as he can remember.
Okay.
Just in case I need to refer back to it later.
And that's right there in his ritual room as well?
Yeah, it's kind of out of the way. It's part of the shelf that holds some of whatever ritual supplies he might need, materials and things like that.
All right. And then you were going to then do you do a new shower for the new ritual or anything, or?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to need, because it's all him, or, his magic and stuff. So I think he'll be okay. So he'll go about he will go about preparing the ritual room again, sweeping the floor again, and whatever.
And my understanding is the intention for this one is you're looking into the sort of future happenings in Glenwood Cemetery.
Yeah, I'm going to look into sort of the possible futures and see what sort of kind of what's going on. See if there's any kinds of things we can take advantage of later.
Right. But that's going to be this afternoon. So that's an afternoon away, which is cutting it pretty close on this sort of stuff.
Okay.
All right. So he sweeps the floor again. He takes a little while longer to meditate because he wants to make sure, that nothing's going to go out of whack, because it's going to be pulling up a lot of energy to look that soon into the future. He likes to be more prepared sometimes, and have at least a week ahead. Seems like a short time to him at this point.
Okay. I think I am going, before I do anything else, I think I am going to remove that piece of marble from the ritual room, though.
Okay.
Just so.
Where do you take that to?
I'm just going to put it outside the door. I don't think anybody's going to mess with it too much.
All right. Kaitlyn, we're so happy that you made it. Sorry that I didn't say hi earlier.
No, you were in the middle of storytelling. I apologize for being late. It's been a long trip. Hi, guys.
Hello. Welcome home.
So welcome back. Welcome home. Unfortunately, Kaitlyn's not home, but
right.
Her friends are hoping to help her get there. Last we'd seen Kaitlyn, it was about 3 a.m., and she was in a pitch black room with some sort of, it was real uncomfortable and clammy place, not a bit of light whatsoever, and she was there with her friend, Bud, who is a homeless man that she knows from working at the homeless shelter.
Right.
And he was suspected of stealing the object that everybody else has been chasing after in the party. Although Kaitlyn never believed that he actually did it, but he was arrested on suspicion of that. And
he was arrested and he ended up here?
And he ended up here.
And Kaitlyn knew he was arrested?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was in a real bad state. He seemed real panicked and like he was under some sort of mental or psychological trauma or distress. And Kaitlyn had done her best to soothe him, and she with prayers, and she had also, it was real cold in there, and the two of them, even though she's bound by her hands and feet, she had sort of scooched over, and he was apparently bound all the way to the floor, and she had scooted over in order for body, bless you,
Thank you.
in order for her body warmth to also provide some sort of comfort. There was a brief moment when the same vampire that had taken Kaitlyn showed up after she had been making a lot of noise, and told her to knock it off, basically, and then abandoned her again to the dark. So that gives it's going to be at least 4 o'clock is about the time that your friends have decided that they're going to come save you, and that gives more than 12 hours that you are in this room. And the time that passes is not really pleasant, because the entire time is filled with screams and mutterings and ramblings from Bud next to you. And it sort of there eventually becomes almost a cadence or a rhythm to these outbursts of his. And there's moments where he's completely panicked and just babbling and muttering and screaming. And then there's other moments where it's more of he seems to calm down a little bit and be shushed, and he'll have moments of lucidity, and he'll say things like how he's always appreciated you at the homeless shelter, and that he'll mention even how much you remind him of his daughter, Lila. And there's other times where he's a little less lucid, and he seems to think that you're Lila when he's talking to you. And then there's other moments where you knew that he had served in Vietnam, but it seems like there's some moments where he feels like he's back there, and has been captured by the enemy, and he refers to Charlie's and other military things going on, and that makes you think that that's where he is in his mind. During all this, how is it that Kaitlyn generally responds?
How is she doing as far as her state of anxiety and panic? Like, do I need to be making that kind, like a check, like
if there's a, give me a discipline check to see.
Right. All right. Oh, okay, 4. I've got a +3 to it, so 4.
So, Kaitlyn's sense of duty in terms of taking care of the homeless in the area, Bud is kind of in her fold.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of rises to the occasion. She has someone to be protecting,
Right.
and so by that, she's actually doing remarkably well.
Having a task to focus on anytime
Right.
he startles, she tries to engage him in calming, soothing conversation. She's careful about his delusions. Like, she doesn't want to upset him, so when he calls her Lila, she doesn't play along, but she also doesn't say, I'm not Lila. She just continues to offer soothing words, and she continues to pray. I imagine when things are calm, she tries to sleep. And is she cold? Is she shivering? Like, she's hungry. She's got to be hungry.
She's got to be hungry. She hasn't eaten since dinner the night before, although it hasn't gotten too bad, because normally she would be sleeping and fasting.
Right. Okay, well, so it's been about, it's 4 a.m. now?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, we're working in the periods between 4
Okay.
a.m. and about 9 a.m.
So it hasn't even been 12 hours since she's eaten then.
Right.
So
It's been a longer time for us in the real world than it's been.
so she might be a little thirsty, a little hungry, but more to the point, she is cold and tired and focused solely on keeping Bud sane, and she keeps trying. And we haven't had any other visitors in
No
this
other
time.
visitors. But as you focus on those things and things fall into sort of a rhythm,
Sure.
you start to realize that y'all do have another visitor, or at least another
Presents.
presence in this room that becomes more active at the times when Bud's having more of his panicked episodes.
I focus on the
And
presents when I can sense it.
what do you mean by that?
Whenever I can sense it, I try to hone in on what it is I'm feeling and where it seems to be emanating from.
Uh, it feels like oh, I left this muted on the Twitch stream. It feels like sort of a very palpable, almost embodiment of fear.
Okay.
As you get a better and better sense of it, and it's very close by when you sense it.
Can I spend a so there's the ability that I have called Bless This House. I'm not sure I know exactly how it works, but it seems like it might be useful in this moment. Would it be?
Mechanically, that particular ability is not very useful to
Okay.
you at the moment
Okay.
because it's more of a place with an already established threshold, and this
Gotcha.
is some sort of room, so that possibly even was intended originally to house that presence. So
Okay.
the at some point if things become bad enough, so righteousness becomes a useful
Right.
thing,
I was
and
looking at that
also
too.
the desperate hour part of that becomes useful, and then it's even possible that the fortuitous arrivals from Guide My Hand might be of some service here.
Yeah,
What
I
I'm
was
going to what I'm going to do to play this out mechanically,
sure.
we're going to have what the game calls a consequential contest.
Okay.
And so there's going to be a series of rolls, and we're going to have a number of rolls equal to each hour that you have to spend in this room.
Okay.
And it's going to be that presence versus Bud's mind. But instead of Bud, I'm going to have you roll for Bud. He's going to have +2 on all of his rolls that he wouldn't have normally, just from you being there and assisting him and calming him and trying to help.
Okay.
And that's going to give him +2 basically, because normally he wouldn't have any skill at this at all.
Sure.
But if at some point during this you want to swap that out for Kaitlyn taking some sort of direct action instead, we can hash that out as we get to it.
Sure.
But
Sounds good.
I'd like to do the rolls from 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. So we're gonna have 6 rolls.
Okay. Plus
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna every roll that you make in terms of your positive number is going
uh-huh.
to subtract from our total. And
Okay.
every roll I make is going to add to it, and it's going to, and whatever number we're left with is the amount of damage that's going to hit Bud.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Semi-sense?
Yes.
All right, so let's do roll 1. You're rolling at a +2.
Roll 1 at a +2.
And then, so you're going to roll 40. You're going to still roll. It's been a while since you've been here. So
The fudge dice. It's a -1.
-1 total?
-1 total.
All right, so that's going to add 1 in this case, probably.
Unless
so
you roll worse.
Unless I roll worse. Let's see. Where'd you go? My bonus is... I did not roll that poorly. I rolled +6.
Okay. Yes, I think that is, yeah. So roll again.
So the first one doesn't, you're sort of, that's, you know, representing the first one. And Kaitlyn's is surprised and astonished and frightened by this as anything, as it continues to happen. And then we'll go for the second one.
Okay.
Oh, dear goodness.
I got a 4.
You got a 4.
I got a 4.
Right. I still rolled pretty well. I got a 5, but between the two, it's only up 1. So that goes to 8.
Okay.
If you want at any point during this, you can also spend a fate point to claim a couple of your aspects and where applicable, like, you know, your friend to the faceless, or even your kind of high concept in terms of your prayers, and that'll add +2.
Okay.
Or subtract 2, depending on which.
Okay, and we've got 4 more rolls.
4 more rolls.
And you're already up 8?
We're up 8 at the moment.
Okay.
It's a bad situation you're in.
It is.
You ready for 3?
Yeah, I'm ready for 3, and I rolled a 4.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings. I rolled. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. All right. For that one, I rolled 3, so that goes down 1.
Excellent.
All right. 4th roll.
And I'm gonna go ahead and spend a fate point to get it. The fate point gets an additional +2.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be +4 total.
Okay, that's the total for that one?
Well, actually, it'll be 3 because I rolled a -1.
Because you rolled a -1.
Yeah, so it'll be 3.
I rolled a 3 too, so that's a wash.
Okay, I'm glad I spent that fate point.
All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll 5.
Yeah. It's now 8 a.m.
That one.
Oh no. I rolled it's a -1.
Okay. So that's going to go up 4.
Okay, I'm going to spend another fate point on the next roll. How many fate points do I have? Total.
She should have started with 4.
Yeah, okay.
So you should have 2 left.
Yeah, okay. +2.
I got a 3 on that roll, so it's going to go up 1. For a total of 12. So the first half of the night has not been good, and it seems like Bud is doing worse and worse with each successive bout of panic.
Yeah. Well.
Let me see. 12 is going to fill out. 1, 2, 3. He's got, no, he's only got 2 there. 2. 8. Okay. As the night sort of goes on, it really seems like Bud is. Oh wait, that's not the thing where I put that. It really seems like his babbling is getting less and less coherent, and he's kind of losing his mind.
What can I do? What can I do?
Kit!
Ah!
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm going to take you back to when you were first you first got your car sort of parked out there. You know, it's kind of in the mid-morning.
Yeah.
Early afternoon. And you get a call from your buddy Steve Johnson at the on your cell phone.
Okay.
And he's like, Kit, man, I've been looking into this a little more.
Why are you calling me, Steve?
Well, this is actually kind of interesting. So all of those permits and stuff, they only start happening about 15 years ago when this group, Pure Legacies Limited, that they're the ones who start doing all the building and other things.
But why is that interesting?
Well, it's interesting because all the permits and stuff, they add up to a lot more than what actually goes on. So I feel like there's no reason a funeral home and a funeral parlor should be building this much in the cemetery.
Maybe they just had a lot of deaths that year? What do you think's going on?
I don't know, but it's kind of fascinating, and I can't find any this group, Pure Legacies. They're not some sort of national chain or anything else.
What do you know about them?
It's the most I can find is that like there's a document at one point in the guy who's signing for this thing, and he must be some important guy in the organization. His name's Richard Peters.
Richard Peters, huh?
Uh-huh.
That name doesn't sound that familiar.
Yeah, and I'm looking. I mean, it's such kind of a general name that I don't really seem to find anything on Google. But I was trying to look around and find things, and that's really most I got so far. But I'll let you know if I turn up anything else.
Okay, Steve. Well, I appreciate you giving me a call. What kind of stuff do you think the funeral home was building from these permits?
I don't know. They've got a lot of cement coming in, and then aside from that, you know, it's just like doors and various pumps and piping and lots of plumbing work, lots and lots of plumbing work.
Let me ask you this.
Which was kind of on this one, the plumbing work, you know, it's always put in, you know, trying not to get the corpses to float out of the cemetery. Yeah. We got a lot of groundwater situation here. While he's talking to you, Kit, make an alertness check.
Oh, goody. Oh, goody. My alertness is 3, so that would be a 5.
Okay, while you're talking to him, as you're sitting there in your car, you know, talking to him on the phone, at the other corner of this lot, you see a series of those same funny bipedal coyotes from the other night.
Oh, goodness.
They run across the lot. They go behind a dumpster. A whole pack of coyotes goes behind that dumpster. As you're still sort of like watching that, a moment later, a group of hogs goes behind that dumpster, followed by two very fat men wearing pig masks and carrying tridents, and they go behind that dumpster. And you're sitting there wondering how this clown call of a dumpster is holding all these people going behind it, because there's not enough room for all of them to be in.
Well, that sounds like a secret.
Like,
should I ever have heard one?
Kit, are you still there?
Yeah, Steve. Is there enough cement to build the tunnel network under the graveyard?
Whoa, do you think there could be a tunnel network under the graveyard?
Well, I don't know, Steve. That's why I asked you.
This could, that kind of makes sense. There could, what in the world? Why would somebody want tunnels under the graveyard?
We know those rich weirdos like Richard Peters, right?
Well, I don't know. He might be rich. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I don't see it. I don't have any other record of that guy. Huh. I wonder if it connects to the steam tunnels too.
Oh yeah, that makes some sense. Hey, are there any? Is the construction done? Are there any outstanding permits?
No, it seems like they finished up most of their stuff at least about 3 or 4 years ago. As he's continuing to talk to you, a group of frogmen come. They walk like right by your car, and then round that dumpster and go behind into it.
I shouldn't go in the dumpster.
You probably shouldn't, but I'm going to go ahead and compel your jumping in with both feet aspect that maybe you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're gonna be like, "Hey, Steve, I'm gonna have to call you back."
I get fate points for that, don't I?
You get a fate point, yeah. If you accept the compel.
I'll accept the compel.
All right, you get a fate point.
Steve, what's the case number on those permits? I mean, should they need to be inspected? What would an inspector?
The most recent one was 9A BVWTCX.
Thanks, Steve. I'll have to call you later.
All right, man. Keep me updated. This is getting fascinating.
So, Kit hangs up and opens his glove box and pulls out one of the handful of parking tickets he's gotten and not addressed in recent years, and looks at the ticket number that's close enough to this case number and scratches it out and writes this on top of it. Rummages around for a little bit of a clipboard, just creating a little bit of a cover, and then
in case.
He holsters his sidearm, steals his nerves. Does he have any phone numbers for do Gideon or Sela carry cell phones?
Sela did not give you her number, and Gideon did not give you a number.
Okay. So Kit texts Travis, found secret entrance, gonna check it out.
Travis doesn't have a phone.
Dang it. Nobody has a phone. All right.
There's one person that has a phone whose number you have, and that's that damn collector.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't trust that number. Okay. Well, Kit jumps in with both feet.
All right.
He tucks his cell phone in his pocket after being frustrated at having not thought ahead on this one. And he heads to the dumpster as stealthily as possible.
All right. You get to the dumpster. You round the corner. There is nothing there.
Nothing there.
Yep.
Kit starts feeling the walls.
Okay.
He's kind of, he saw some magic earlier today. He's kind of open to this as being something real. And he saw what Sela did with the jar. And so while he has no magical sensing abilities, he knew that the jar sounded still like a plastic jug of change, even though it looked like an urn. So he's just feeling for inconsistencies somewhere.
Give me an investigation check.
Ooh. So +3 to a 2 is a 5. And I'm jumping in with both feet. If I need to, I will spend a fate point to make it a 7.
No, don't spend your fate point on this. So you start on the walls, and you feel the walls are brick walls. That much you're pretty sure. And you check for any sort of hidden loose bricks. Maybe there's some sort of brick that can come out and thing. You spend a good deal of time on that. And then you get kind of, it's the sun's coming down on you. You're here by yourself, and you take a moment, and you lean against the back of the dumpster, and your hand goes through it. But you don't fall in because you were ready for something weird to go on. So, and you quickly determine that there's this sort of section of the dumpster that it's like you can pass right. Your hand goes in, and it actually feels cool and cold on the other side. There's a palpable difference of temperature on the other side.
Well, I go inside.
All right. So you go feet first or head first?
It's more since my eyes aren't reliable at the moment. It's more of a blind feeling. So it's hand first, but just trying to kind of walk, but protecting the head and trying to feel for a step or anything like that. So slow and steady and quiet.
Slow and steady. And you go in, and there's this moment where it's sort of like, it's a weird, really strange moment where sort of the dumpster passes right through your eyes, and you find yourself in the middle of a graveyard.
Like a sun shining graveyard, or
like a moonlight shining at night graveyard. It's cold. In fact, a breeze comes through and it causes some chill. And now we'll go back to Gideon, who was just about to look into future happenings for this afternoon at Glenwood Cemetery.
Yes.
All right. So you get your materials together. This is a ritual you cast a lot. It's a little concerning that it's going to be so soon for you to look into the future. And but you clear your mind, and you call up a series of power. The first set of power, control it. Second set of power. Third set. Fourth set. You take your time to make sure it's all there, and at the right moment you release it and sort of fly forward into later this afternoon at Glenwood Cemetery, and you find yourself standing in the middle of a graveyard. And you do this a lot. You actually have a lot of freedom to decide what to look and where to look. So tell me where you go.
Um, Interesting. Okay. Essentially, I want to look around and see what kind of defenses are there. Points that we can get in. If there's, what kind of security they have. Like, if there's locked doors, if there's something else.
All right. So you make a quick circuit of the fences. There's a pretty tall and pointy wrought iron fence all the way around the entire cemetery. There's two entrances, one on the east side, one on the north side. They're both actually locked with a gate, and it's got a padlock and chains, which is kind of unusual. And you can see someone is sitting at each of those in sort of a little guard booth, a little air-conditioned guard booth at each entrance.
Okay. Can I? Jeez.
You hear a bunch of dogs barking.
Yeah. Let me check out the dogs.
You follow the sound. There's some that appear to be loose at some point in time, and they are tearing madly after something. But then most of the time they're actually pinned up. There seems to be a very extensive kennel structure next to the main building of the funeral parlor. It's kind of behind it, and there is a large series of very large and mean dogs. I won't be cruel to any specific breeds at the moment, but very intimidatingly sized dogs. And they don't seem like they've been treated for being friendly to guests.
Okay.
In fact, give me a lore check.
That is a 5 total.
The more you look at these dogs, the more you feel like these might actually be dark hounds.
Do I get the impression that they would attack the guards in the guardhouses if they were let loose?
Yeah, you get the impression that if these dogs are let loose, they'll attack anything that's moving in the cemetery.
Okay. Let me see. Can I identify, is the mausoleum I saw earlier in this graveyard?
You look around, and there's several mausoleums in this graveyard. In fact, there's a lot of them. You saw it from the inside, so it's kind of hard to tell. Give me an investigation check.
Ooh, that's not good. Okay, that's not actually a skill of mine. So it would just be whatever the roll is.
Yeah, give yourself +1 because you're kind of using magic here, and so there's some mental abilities that are happening.
-1.
-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. It doesn't seem like you're able to find it.
Okay.
As you're looking at one of these mausoleums and you're kind of checking it out, the sky suddenly blackens and the sun goes from the sun to being a moon.
Just all of a sudden, huh?
Uh-huh.
Like any normal day.
Yeah. Does this have to do with the ritual, or is this something that's going to be?
You feel goosebumps go up and down your skin from the cold.
Interesting.
Give me a lore check.
4.
4? 4. With your roll, you know for absolutely certain this is not part of your ritual, or at least something odd is going on. This is an unexpected result. And you also get the feeling that maybe you're no longer even in the sort of future scape of Glenwood Cemetery that you were expecting yourself to be in, or that you were in a moment ago.
So I feel like I've been pushed somewhere else.
Uh-huh. Or possibly pulled.
Do I get the impression that it's the same kind of thing that was messing with my last ritual?
No, this would be something different. With your roll, you're fairly certain there's a different effect going on here. Give me a discipline check.
Two.
Man, that was a bad roll for you.
That was a bad roll.
All right. This mostly looks still like the same graveyard you were just in, but it's dark. The stars have come out, which you've lived in Houston long enough to know there's no longer any stars in Houston. And it's cold. You can feel an actual chill, which is also very unlike Houston, particularly at this time of year.
Interesting. Can I get any kind of impression as to when this is? I mean, am I looking at a different point in time, or has this point in time just become different?
From your previous role, you're pretty sure you're no longer looking at a point in time. You're now somewhere.
Oh, am I literally somewhere?
Not in body, but in spirit.
Oh, okay, all right. So, all right. I was going to say that's pretty impressive. I have to write that down in the journal. Okay.
Give me an alertness check. How'd that turn out?
3.
3?
Yes.
It's pretty good for Gideon.
Got a
Where'd
bad
you
roll on
go?
my good skill and a good roll on my bad skill.
Oh, he doesn't have any. Okay, so you suddenly feel a malevolent presence directly behind you. And you turn around, and it's just sort of an amorphous shadow, sort of like with little tendrils coming off, hovering right behind you.
Uh, hmm. I guess can I try to talk to it?
Sure.
Hello? Okay.
Roll
I didn't think it would work. No,
roll rapport.
all right. -2. I guess I sound like prey.
So, yeah, you say hello, but it kind of stammers a little bit, and as it comes out, it sounds a lot more scared than you even realized you were. And it starts to move towards you in such a way that you feel like it's basically about to eat you, and you very much want to turn around and run.
I'll end the ritual.
So you go to end the ritual, and you're still there.
I'll end the ritual again.
You're not in the ritual room. You are still in this cemetery, and the thing is hurtling towards your face.
I am okay. Let's see. Can I cast a spell? Such as my wall or shield. Okay. So that is it's a rote, so I don't need to control it, right? I don't need to roll discipline to control.
Correct.
All right. So I just roll my conviction, right?
I gotta check. It's been a while since we had you casting spells.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm used to using items. Just kind of works.
you don't roll discipline to you don't roll discipline to control it, but you still roll it to set the difficulty level.
Oh, okay. So
that's even better for you anyway. So
yeah. So what am I rolling? I'm rolling just discipline.
Just discipline.
Okay. That is a 5.
All right. So it sets as 5, and as you set this wall up between the two of y'all, between you and this thing that's like inches from your face at this point, you actually feel like you set up a more powerful wall than you should have for the amount of energy you normally put into it. This is such a instinctual thing that you know exactly how much energy goes out, and it feels like this thing was reinforced somehow and a lot stronger than you were even expecting.
Do I take stress for casting the spell?
Yeah, 1 mental stress.
Just double checking. Okay. Well, now that I've got a wall, can I try a lore check to see if this kind of rings a bell? Have I ever thought or encountered something like, heard of something like this and maybe might know what to do next?
Sure. Give me a lore check. What was that result?
3.
3. You have never heard of anything like this.
Okay.
It reminds you in some ways, sort of like it looks. Oh, what are those called? I suddenly forgot. It looks like this thing that's just escaping your mind at the moment with your 3 roll. That's totally what's happening here, and it's not because I forgot the term for what it's called. There is a little piece of nothingness that kind of sends out a miasma and just kills things on touch.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
That's what it most reminds you of, but you don't feel like that's what this is. It doesn't make sense that it doesn't make any sense where you'd suddenly be in this presence or that in this landscape, and that be the case.
Okay.
And as you're thinking about that and contemplating it, and it's moving in this real, slow, almost imperceptible movement being blocked by your shield, you feel the power of your shield, which was reinforced and stronger than you even expected, shatter, and this thing starts moving quickly and moves to take you.
I think I'm going to try to run away.
All right. Give me an athletics.
Okay. That's a -2.
-2. Give me a lore roll too.
4.
4. So you go to run from this thing. You turn and you sprint. And the first thing you do is you trip over a low-lying grave marker, one of those flat sort of gravestones, and you catch the edge of that and you sprawl. And you have this thought in your head that, no, I can't go down this way. This can't be what gets me. I've got, it's got to be something better than that. And I've just got to move. I've got to just keep moving even if I fall. And you hit the ground and it's like you hit a slip and slide and you just slide across the landscape.
Oh, okay. So can I can think myself in the direction I want to go, essentially.
Essentially, you seem by sheer force of will to have thought yourself to keep moving despite the fact that you should have face planted and stopped still.
Okay.
You glitched.
Yeah.
And you actually move far enough away that you gain some distance, despite the fact that this thing's just billowing towards you, right behind you. You actually gain some distance away from it. Give me an alertness check.
One.
About that time, you spot as you're like zipping by, you zip by a pair of gravestones, and right behind that gravestone is a pair of coyote goblins.
Okay. Hmm. I'm going to try to run by them, so maybe it'll see them and become distracted.
All right. So you keep moving by them. That's kind of the direction you're going already. You want to somehow bring its attention to them?
Yeah, maybe I'll like point or, will them to be juicy or something, like appetizing.
Well, they're hiding behind those gravestones. You could try to do something to affect that.
Okay. Can I try to, I guess break one of the gravestones?
With the sheer power of your mind?
Yes, mind bullets.
All right. Roll discipline.
Four.
Both gravestones just crack right over.
I knew
and
it
they're
would
left
work.
standing there, exposed.
I'm going to run right in between them, or, float, or, move. Whatever it is I'm doing. Right in between them.
All right. Kit, you're standing there in the middle of this cold graveyard when all of a sudden you hear this crack, and you turn around, and there's two of those coyote goblins, and Gideon goes sliding by on his stomach.
What?
Slide.
And I need y'all to roll initiative.
Wow.
But don't use alertness. I want you to use lore.
All right. It's my kind of initiative roll.
Paul's like, yes, finally.
And I love it.
I got a 1.
What'd you get, Paul?
2. That's interesting. For some reason, you're not hearing me after I roll.
I've got a slight delay on your mic picking up, I think is what the deal is. And so it seems like the first part of what you say gets cut off. And so when you say something just real quick, I don't seem to get it. Okay, and 3. And where are you guys? You guys are
in a cold
0,
graveyard somewhere, apparently.
You're at 0, and these guys will be a 0 too, right? Yeah, everybody else is a 0. All right, so Kit, you turn around, you see this happen, and then the first thing that happens after that, you look back up at those coyote goblins, and this blackness, this black sort of cloud of soot, rolls over one, and then rolls past it. And there's this comical moment where after it rolls past it, it's just there and it's all burnt and crispy and its eyes are bright white and it blinks a couple of times. And that almost makes you laugh out loud, and then it disintegrates. And that's sort of less
Awesome.
hilarious, less awesome since the soot is kind of moving still after Gideon, and so therefore kind of directly at you. And then it's Gideon's turn.
Do I see Kit?
Give me an alertness check.
Yes, that's a 3.
Sure, you see Kit all day.
Okay.
Goodness.
So as I'm sliding by Kit, I tell him, hey. Run.
What's going on?
I just keep on sliding.
What are you doing?
I have no idea.
Is this really you? Because I mean, I was at a graveyard, but not this one.
Well, I was not at I was at a grave. Yes. I have no idea.
Am I in danger?
Yes. Run. Almost certainly.
There's a door around here somewhere. It came in through a dumpster, but it wasn't a real dumpster. I think we can get out that way.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so it's aside from this discussion that happens as you slide past, do you have anything else you want to do on your turn?
No. We want to keep moving.
You want to keep moving?
Just
all right.
Swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Give me another lore check.
Six.
You've decided you are the best sprinter on this planet, and you are. And you can just run circles. You can get all the way across this graveyard if you want.
I am really tempted, but instead I kind of try to stay near Kit and see what I can do to encourage him to run.
All right.
I think he's convinced.
But run super fast, like as fast as I'm running.
Floating. You're just floating around.
No, he's running now. He's got this thing going with his feet, and they're a blur underneath him, and they're going in a circle. And he's like, "Come on, run like me, run like me."
This is the most trippy dream I think Kit has ever experienced. Kit turns towards the way he came in. Does he see his exit?
Nope. Or is that what you want to do? Investigate for that?
I guess so. Want to leave?
All right. Give me an investigation check.
Two. I have a lot of fate points if I need them. Like an exit.
Two will not be enough.
Well, 4?
4 would be enough.
I'll make it a 4.
All right. Which one of your aspects are you making it a 4 with?
That's a good question.
Jump in with both feet.
I would use that one, or I would slightly alter my interpretation of there must be a cure for this madness. There must be a way out.
All right. I'll let you go with jump with both feet.
Okay.
You turn right around, and a couple spaces away are 2 headstones. And you just go to slide between the two. And as you slide between, run into a brick wall. And it's hot again.
It's hot again. Okay. Am I still in the graveyard? Do I see the sun?
Nope.
So I'm behind a dumpster.
Uh-huh.
Great. This is exactly what I wanted, I think. I stick my hand back in the dumpster and wave wildly. This way out.
And it's hot and you're enjoying the sun, and then there's a shadow, and a toad man is standing over you.
Oh. Shoot the toad man.
What?
So I shoot the toad man as soon as the opportunity arrives.
As soon as the opportunity arrives, roll athletics.
Okay. That is going to be a 4.
It's going to be a 4, huh? Okay, so he shoots you first with his tongue.
Sure.
He just sort of spits out a tongue. You roll to get out of the way, and he nails it right against the bottom of your foot, and it trips you, and you sort of stumble even further and get wedged between the far end of the dumpster and this wall. He doesn't fully grab you with it. It sort of just knocks you.
Okay.
Gideon, give me a discipline or a lore check.
That's literally the same thing, so +3. +3.
+3. Where'd you go? All right. +3, you take 2 physical stress as this dark cloud shoots out one of its bands, and it's sort of like it sends a ribbon of itself flying and kind of pierces part of your body, and you can feel it attempting to suck the life out of you.
Okay. Can I get out the way Kit did?
Give me. Did you see the way that Kit went? I assume that you did.
Yeah.
All right. So you're just gonna turn tail and run that way.
Yes. If I can.
All right. You can.
Unless I get the well. No, I'm gonna attack this thing with my mind, since I'm able to
Okay.
do fun things.
What is the way that you're going to attack it?
Picture it evaporating.
Yeah, I'm just gonna picture it exploding.
All right. Give me a discipline check.
That's a 3.
All right. So you go to do that, and it sort of starts to stretch, and then it looks like it sort of stops itself and then pulls itself back together.
Is there kind of a boing sound?
No, there's no funny sound with it. Kit, it's your turn.
I draw and aim for the frog's uvula and fire a few shots.
All right. Give me a guns check.
Where is that at? Oh, it's a 2. So that's a 4.
That's a wash. A 4?
Mm-hmm.
You shoot it right through the head, and it falls over backwards. All right. Gideon, the black cloudish object is suddenly leapt upon by an entire pack of coyotes.
Okay, now I'm going to turn and run.
And it seems like +1 for both. It seems like it's mostly being able to fight them off for the most part. It's not really worse for the wear, but they have started to harry it some. And it is your turn.
I'm going to attack it again, and maybe this time try to restrain it or bind it so that the coyotes can overwhelm it.
Okay, so you're gonna are you giving them an assist on their? You trying to set up a maneuver for them to tag, basically?
Yeah, I guess. However it works. Basically, I want to try to disable it, or reduce its ability to fight them, so that they're able to be successful.
All right, give me a straight up discipline roll.
4.
All right. You're trying to sort of mold its physical shape into pulling it sort of down to the ground where they can maul and paw at it better, and you actually see it start. It's like you are being able to kind of push it down. And then Kit, it's your turn.
I assess my current situation. Any more frogmen nearby? Any issues or immediate dangers?
You sort of peer up over, and there's this real calm, hot, vacant lot in Houston. Yeah, it just seems to be you out here.
I try to hold on to the dumpster, support my weight with one hand, and then try and lean my head in to see if I can see back into that graveyard, and just holler back to Gideon. I'm sure you condescendingly want to explain this to me later. Let's go this way. And what do I see?
Okay, so you see a group of coyotes who are really managing to fight with themselves more than fight with this black object that's sort of become almost liquid and is kind of oozing along the ground at this time. You also see coming almost out of nowhere one of those big men in the pig masks from earlier, big fat guy. He's holding this like trident, and he just jabs it. He comes out of nowhere and he jabs it right into this Icarus black mask in the ground, and the whole thing sort of shudders in response. And Gideon's there, and he seems to be doing some sort of mumbo jumbo. He's got both fingers to his temples. He's like, and it looks like he's about to pop a vein. And then you see that black mass slither up that trident and start to wrap itself around the pig man, who squeals in pain.
Oh, Kit's so overwhelmed. Living in a nightmare.
It's almost over.
Gideon, what do I do?
Run.
I'm out here. Why aren't you running?
I'm on my way. I was just, making sure we could actually leave.
I've left. Are you leaving?
I am leaving.
It is
Okay.
your turn, Gideon.
Yeah, I turn and go.
So you go right to where Kit went.
Yes.
All right, and then as you pass through, you pass, you kind of, he pulls his head out into nothing. His head's there, and then his head's gone, and you come through, and you open your eyes, and you're back in your ritual room.
Okay. I'm gonna break the magic circles and in the ritual, just to be
Right.
safe.
Kit, Gideon doesn't come out.
That's not good. Oh. Kit. He has no phone numbers. He pokes his head back in to look for Gideon.
Gideon's gone. You don't see him.
What was the last thing Kit saw?
You saw him coming right towards you. And you kind of pulled your head out so you wouldn't bash noggins.
Okay. So by all indication, he should have come out.
Right.
Okay.
The black thing is still fighting with the pigman. The pigman sort of like has a partner that comes up and is also stabbing at it. They seem to mostly be losing this battle.
Kit quietly observes. Head only in. But,
Right.
I mean, there's kind of a little testing of how things feel and all of that. I'm just trying to, like, figure out what, to his best knowledge, could be going on.
All right. As you watch, the dark blob becomes again more vaporous, and it billows over and sort of surrounds one of these pigmen. The other one is sort of stabbing inside, mostly missing his partner and hitting these vaporish parts. It's really odd. It does seem like there is an effect that happens when he stabs air, like the vapor can feel some sort of pain from the contact. And that's what's going on for now. Then, is there anything you'd like to do?
I think at this point, the main thing that I'm looking for is for Kit to probably just make, I'm guessing, a lore check, but like he's just checking this against all the crazy that he grew up with.
Okay. Make a lore check.
It's 1.
Okay. I mean, this is like it feels more like a hallucination than anything else at the moment.
Okay.
But it's real,
Mm-hmm.
or at least you're fairly certain. If you don't wake up in your truck in a second, that it's real. Yeah, with that one, you
Yeah, not a whole lot to know.
not a whole lot. As you continue to watch, the coyotes do get a sort of double team on this thing, and it's like for a second they kind of tear the cloud asunder,
Mm-hmm.
and then it coalesces back, and in sort of reprisal, it moves on one of them and consumes one of the coyotes.
What's the so Kit's basically just taking the opportunity of, since no one's paying attention to him, Gideon should have made it out. Who knows where he went? But he wasn't with Kit to begin with, so presumably he's left through whatever version of Gideon's door got him in there. Kit's going to spend as much time as is practical watching and assessing this cloud to see what things affect it. So like I'm thinking things like if there is a stiff breeze in the graveyard, does it interact with it? If there's, does it go around or on top of gravestones? What is it? Does it have the physical properties of smoke and all of that?
Right. Give me an investigation check.
Okay. It's just a 2. Seems accurate for Kit's level of knowledge of these things.
All right. With your 2, you definitely do have a fairly clear shot in sight line of all the action going on. You watch this thing as it moves. It seems to move scarily fast for just being sort of a puff of smoke. It doesn't slowly boil. Sometimes it just suddenly rips out a section of itself and just shoots something. Shoots into something. It does not seem to really be affected by wind. But at the same time, it does seem to be affected by the coyotes. Actually, seem to find purchase sometimes on it. They grab it and they sort of worry at a section of it that comes with it, which doesn't make sense for a vaporous type object either. And as you're watching, it's sort of at one point, it's sort of like it's ended up surrounded by a lot of these critters and creatures attacking it. And you see it sort of ripple, and a series of gravestones rip up out of the ground. Like, they don't break. They literally come flying out of the ground and topple on top of several of these critters, smashing them flat.
It's almost a great cue to leave. Almost. Okay.
You want to take a pot shot at it before you leave?
Almost. So I have an idea, and I think this is as good an idea as what Kit would have.
Okay.
So when he picked up the stakes and other vampire hunting tools from that he's seen in the movies, I think that one of the things he would have picked up would have been some jars of minced garlic and a few baseballs. And what Kit would try and do, I think, in this situation is test on whether or not this dark blob is a vampire, since he has no idea. Okay. So he takes the baseball from his backpack, rubs the garlic on the ball, and then heaves it at the smoke monster and crouches ready to run back to his car.
Okay. So you run over to your truck and you whip up this garlic soaked baseball. Mm-hmm. And you run back over and you poke your head back in the dumpster, and sure enough, this thing's still fighting with it. Just the 1 or 2 creatures left, and you hurl this baseball at it. Give me I'll take guns.
Oh, that's very kind of you. 3.
All right. All right. So you throw this thing. And you're sort of following a bead. This thing's like chasing another little. It's chasing one of the toadmen. The toadmen's sort of hopping away, and it's billowing after it. And you follow the bead and you hurl it, and it just barely misses. It bounces off of a gravestone. and comes rolling back at you.
Oh, Kit should leave, but he jumps in with both feet, and so he tries again.
Okay, this thing is now like
Unless it feels like it's looking at him,
it's eating the Toad Man.
eating the toad.
Yep.
That's another 3. Well, yeah, it's another 3. I'm not going to spend fate points on something that's probably useless.
All right. You could tag the aspect that it's currently eating the other thing, so it's still
Oh,
and not moving.
yes.
And that'll give you a +2.
Tagged.
Okay. And so you hit this thing, and it notices. This is very clear that it notices. It has this sudden reaction. It sort of like shoots out away, and then it coalesces back about 10 feet closer to you, and you feel like you have its attention now.
I run. I run so hard and so fast.
All right. And so, I mean, you run, you come back out through the portal, and you're in daylight again. You keep running?
I keep running.
Okay. You reach your truck.
I didn't run back to the truck. I was heading towards the bus stop at the in the
going
way.
the other direction?
I'm heading back to Gideon's.
You're heading back to Gideon's, and you just keep running. Kaitlyn. I apologize for the mostly uneventful time so far.
Oh, it's been very eventful. My poor friend, Bud, is all weak and dying, and my cat can't stop getting attention from me.
There
He's very-
is still another 7 hours that you and Bud are in this room.
Oh. Does Bud have any food on him?
Okay, he does not.
Okay.
You catch him in a moment of lucidity, asking him, that sort of thing, and he's like,
Does he have food? Does he have matches? Does he have a cigarette? Does he have something?
and he basically says that he doesn't remember before he got here, and his pack isn't with him. Normally he's got his big duffel bag, or sort of his little, not a traditional duffel bag, but more of a military duffel that he carries with him.
Okay.
All right, give me the first of these 7 rolls as another wave of fear overtakes him. I'm sorry, did I miss it?
No. It's a 3.
It's a 3?
Yes.
That actually brings you in good standing on this one, because I only rolled a 1.
Excellent.
So you have this, after things started to look really bad, you have this moment where you have this discussion about the duffel, and it seems like he's maybe holding on a little better.
Okay.
Give me another roll. Nice.
Oh, 3 again.
Okay. I also had a very bad roll, and I was at 0. So that's -3.
Oh.
So that's for a -5.
All right, we keep praying.
You get him to pray along with you.
Okay.
He talks again about how much he appreciates you and how you remind him of his daughter, and that you've always been there, and you're and everything else along those lines. Another roll.
Another roll. 1.
All right, I got 2.
Okay.
So that's a change of 1 to -4.
Okay.
You're still 4 to the good.
Okay.
Another roll.
Ooh. 0.
This one's a 3.
Okay.
For a -1.
Okay. How many rolls do we have left?
3 more rolls.
Are we getting close to desperate hour?
I mean, at this time you're -1. So Bud, for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, it seems like he's mostly holding on. These terrors pass through, and he's still here.
Okay.
Another roll.
2.
All right, and during this one, you are if you actually find yourself in this moment of prayer where you feel like you're having a battle of wills between you and whatever presence is happening.
Okay.
And y'all are at a bit of a stalemate. It was at kind of a 0. It's like you're just sitting there and neither one of you are budging. When suddenly the presence just sort of dissipates for a moment and you feel your own will plow through it. And you don't feel like it's anything you did that caused that to happen, but you do feel like something affected or hurt the presence.
Huh. Begone, shadow of the night. I keep praying. I try to suss out what happened, I suppose. Can I make a lore check or a...
Yeah, it would be a lore check.
Which I don't have, but...
You can roll it anyway.
A 0.
It's a 0. You don't know.
Okay.
Another hour passes. Give me another roll.
4. That
All right.
that moment of wavering from for this unnameable, shadowy, evil force thing, gave me a moment of hope, and it allowed me to grow in conviction that it could be defeated somehow. And I rolled a 4.
And you have a gain of 2 on that one. And then just about this is the last roll. It's like it's fleeing before you, and then you feel it come full force back.
No.
As a presence into this room.
Why? Be gone, shadow.
But if you want, I'll allow you to tag that hope that's been created by the circumstances and everything else. It doesn't cost you a fate point.
Oh.
And so that'll be an extra +2. So whatever you roll +4.
3.
Oh man. All right. I rolled a 5.
Okay.
So
that's a 2.
So that comes back 5. So it comes out to a total of a 2. So you feel it wash over Bud, but when he gasps, he's still here.
Hold on, Bud. I just need you to hold on.
And he's like, I'm holding on. I'm holding on. I won't let you down, Kaitlyn. I'm still gonna be here. I won't leave you all alone with this thing.
No, I don't want to let you down, Bud. We're here together, and we keep praying.
And as you're praying, a shaft of light opens up and passes over you. And at first you feel like it's the answer to your prayer. And then you realize it's the door has opened to this room.
The door
And
is opening. Okay.
You look over in some men that are dressed in sort of linen garments.
Linen.
Come in, and it's white. It's very white. They look sort of like angels. These guys have blonde hair. There's kind of a sheen to them with a halo effect. And they're wearing linen, and it's also kind of glowing from the light behind it in the hallway behind it. And they sort of come into the room and they don't see anything. They look around. One of them mutters to himself, "We're gonna need more people," and he goes back out.
What? No, where are you going? What do you mean we need more people? I'm a people.
The other one ignores you and sort of is jangling with some like keys. And then a good, I would say half a dozen of them come in. Two of them are carrying this sort of like, how to describe it? It's like a cedar chest on poles.
Okay. Like an ark?
Like an ark. And they carry it in there, and you look at what they're doing, and you look over, and you hadn't noticed before, but Bud is sort of been strapped down in front of this raised dais that's in the middle of the room.
Well, it's been completely dark.
Yeah, it was completely dark, so you had no way of knowing. And when you'd felt around, you kind of made a full circle of this thing before.
Right. Yeah.
And you hadn't realized that there's this raised section of stone. And on top of that, about the size of a very large piece of luggage, a good luggage bag, is this. It looks like it's brown, and it looks like it's hard shelled, but it's got a rough, it's not a smooth exterior. It's kind of like mud or something,
like stucco.
Like stucco, but it's glossy at the same time. Even though the surface is rough, the material it's made of looks glossy.
Okay.
Is sitting on this dais, and these two take the ark, and they use it. They cover it. They slide a piece of wood underneath that once it's covered, and they flip the whole thing off and carry it out of the room.
Where are you going? Who are you? Why won't you talk to me?
And as that happens, you can palpably feel that foreboding presence leave with that ark and those men. And then the rest of the men unlock Bud and get him up on his feet, and they're holding him, and they also lift you, and they drag both of you after the ark.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are you taking me?
And that's where we'll end for tonight.
But no, where are you taking me? Why won't they answer me? Do they smell good?
They smell really good.
Okay. I am befuddled.
All right.
And
we'll pick up next week. And Jessica apologizes. She had dinner plans and she forgot.
And I apologize for last week.
She had like a birthday dinner, and then so we'll forgive her that. And next week, she will be meeting up with the rest of you at the front of the cemetery at 4 p.m. to come in and save Kaitlyn. And so that's where we'll be next week.